If you guys remember, the 16-inch MacBook made a grand entrance into the market in 2021. So this time too, Apple made one with more screens and more speed. When a brand tries to combine process prowess with a sophisticated design, that's one tough job. Whatever the reason, let me assure you, you don't have to continue waiting. The M-Series SoC is here to stay. The transition has been largely painless, and there is a ton of native software available from third-party developers. You can say that the new M2 Pro and Max give a massive performance boost over the earlier M1 Pro and M1 Max machines, so you are getting after waiting all these years. Now, when ripping up the specs, you can see that the new MacBook Pro's overall style hasn't changed much, but they do come with the new M2 Pro and M2 Max CPUs. The 16-inch MacBook Pro boasts the same features as its previous sibling, including a 16.2-inch mini LED display with a 120Hz refresh rate, a notch at the top housing, a 1080p webcam, a Magic Keyboard without a touch bar, and Apple's customary roomy trackpad and 6-speaker sound system. And you shouldn't miss about the ports, right? There are plenty of ports on the outside, including 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, an HDMI port, an SD card slot, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and finally, a MagSafe connector for quick charging. Now, we got the performance on our hands, let's take a look. Just like the Mac Mini, we got a choice of an M2 Pro or M2 Max chip. Apple claims that the M2 Pro processor's 10 or 12-core CPU, which has up to 8 high-performance and 4 high-efficiency cores, outperforms the M1 Pro chip by 20%. The new processor can support up to 32 GB of RAM and has a 200 GB per second of combined memory bandwidth, which is twice as much as the standard M2 chip. According to Apple's website, these guys claim that the 19-core GPU on the processor can produce up to 30% greater graphics performance, while the neural engine is 40% faster. The M2 Max processor, which has a GPU with up to 38 cores, outperforms the M1 Max in terms of graphics performance by up to 30%. 400 GB per second of single memory bandwidth is also included. For people who want the most power possible from their high-end Apple laptop, the M2 Max CPU can be customized with up to 96 GB of RAM. This chip, according to Apple, is almost 20% quicker than the one it replaces. That's a big boast, especially considering how amazing the M1 Pro and M1 Max in the 2021 MacBook Pros performed. But let me tell you this, one of the new MacBook Pro laptop's key selling points may be their long battery life. Now, when did Apple make serious improvements in batteries? According to Apple, the 16-inch MacBook Pro is designed to last 15 hours of web browsing and 22 hours of movie playback. And let me give you one cool thing. Performance is unaffected when there is no connection to a main socket, which is another amazing feature of Apple's silicon. You will thus get the same level of power performance on the battery whether you are plugged in or working on the go. But this is similar to what we mentioned about in the 2021 model. You could possibly complete 8 hours of work time without any issues on this device. While more intensive apps would drain the battery more quickly, you can push it at around twice the rate with some adjustments. When the battery does run out, there is a 140-watt charger in the box that is rated to provide a 50% charge in just 30 minutes. It should take less than 90 minutes to charge fully. So yeah, I would say it's okay, kind of fast. Now, should you go for one if you already own the previous model? The M2 Pro's standout feature is a 20% boost in power generation over generation. And while I don't think it would be a good reason to upgrade, the M2 Max's access to more unified memory than even the M1 Ultra offers might be a big draw for a very particular group of high-end creatives. Even Apple's trade-in deals aren't all that amazing. That really turns your dreams down, doesn't it? But you can, if you can afford the asking price still. Thinking about the processor? I would say, ignore the processor though. And how distinct are the MacBook Pro versions from 2021 and 2023? The answer is, not much. The scale and weight are still exactly the same, and the display is still the same Liquid Retina XDR mini LED panel, which is also a really good LED panel. But that doesn't mean there aren't any differences. As we said before, the HDMI connector of the 2023 MacBook Pro models has been updated to version 2.1, enabling high frame rate content. You can use 4K panels at up to 240 Hz or 8K displays at 60 Hz. That's a fantastic upgrade if you're always projecting to a screen or screens, as M2 Pro and M2 Max both enable simultaneous output to two 6K panels and four 6K panels, respectively. That's cool. The 2023 MacBook Pro doesn't have everything that is new, but it doesn't imply that what it does have isn't fantastic. Its Liquid Retina XDR display is a fine example of how laptops should perform in this regard. Now, that panel name might require some decoding because it is written in a very typical Apple style. Don't you guys feel that way? Now, why is that? Well, the company uses the XDR part to indicate its mini LED and high dynamic range capability. It just looks so brilliantly bright when working or working on it. It literally looks wonderful. Of course, Apple isn't a newbie to mini LED. It's the type of backlighting that was used in the most current iPad Pro models. Well, it's most obvious that mini LED uses tiny LED backlights to give big brightness but also big precision. These LEDs' compact size make it possible to have strong contrast, outstanding black levels, and a peak brightness of up to 1600 nits. That is comparable to the highest quality TV level on your laptop. Yes, trust me, it's a big component because you can't tell the difference between the display's genuine black and the display's black bezel around. Well, I tried. Aside from that, the next big thing you would notice is the notch display or the fact that the cameras are housed in a chunk at the top of the screen, which is largely hidden by apps that fill in the screen bezel. Although most of us wouldn't want that. Obviously, who would want a piece of the black strip at the top of the screen? I would love to not have a notch screen design, but the thing is that I haven't found it to be too bothersome since it kind of goes away after only a few hours of using it. The built-in audio capabilities of the 2023 MacBook Pro are very amazing. From a top-notch display to top-tier speakers, I would say there's no laptop that produces lower frequency tones that are so realistic or that genuinely transform spoken words or music. The fact that these speakers have built-in support for spatial audio is one of their many brilliant features. You can therefore experience a true three-dimensional environment whether listening to music that has been object-based mixed or when watching a program or movie that has been Atmos mixed without using headphones. And even when you're not experimenting with Atmos, the 6-speaker setup will just sound so clear, loud, and crisp. Anyways, when covering up the entire topic, the 2023 MacBook Pro, tested here in 16-inch form, is just such an outstanding machine that it's the unrivaled choice for creatives. So I truly don't care if the design is the same for this iteration. Aside from that, the battery life is incredible, the screen is excellent, and despite being beefy and heavy, it's still just about portable enough. The new MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch had the same design as the versions from 2021, but because of the new M2 Pro and M2 Max CPU's increased power, they should be incredibly fast computers. A maxed-out M2 Max with 96GB unified memory takes things to another level, which will be appealing to a niche of high-level customers with very specific needs and very fat budgets. The addition of M2 Pro gives a minor performance improvement. It's nice that you can customize the Pro to fit your needs and budget. It's even better that it can do things that the competition cannot, period, in any way. I mean, these should be the fastest MacBooks yet, though we'll have to put each one through more user reviews to see how much faster they are than the prior models. Anyway, let's see. So coming to the end of today's episode, tell us in the comments, would you go for one and why? Anyways, this isn't the end of the story. More exciting stuff will be released in the following days, and we will bring you the best of it. That's all we have for today. We'll meet up again at the next one.